The boat rocks gently, side to side, side to side, like a cradle set upon the sea. It is early morning, the kind of morning where the sky has not yet decided what color it wants to be. Pale gold bleeds into soft blue along the horizon, and the water below mirrors it perfectly, so that if you look out past the railing, you cannot quite tell where the ocean ends and the sky begins. You are standing near the stern of the research vessel, a mug of something warm cupped between your hands, watching the crew move about their quiet morning routines. There is no rush here, no urgency, just the unhurried rhythm of people who have done this many times before, who trust the process, who trust the sea. Someone coils a length of rope, hand over hand, letting it fall into a neat spiral at their feet. Somewhere behind you, a diesel generator hums low and steady, more felt than heard, a gentle vibration to the soles of your feet. A gull calls out once, twice, and then seems to think better of it, gliding off toward the pale horizon on wings that barely move. The air smells of salt and sunscreen, and the faint metallic tang of diving equipment being checked and rechecked. Someone is running a gloved finger along the seal of the mask. Someone else is testing the valve of the tank, and it releases a small hiss of air, like the ocean itself exhaling. You were told weeks ago that this expedition would be different. Most blue holes, those strange, perfectly round openings that appear in shallow tropical waters, dropping straight down into darkness, have already been mapped, measured, understood, at least as much as anything in the ocean can be understood. But this one is different. This one, the local chart simply marked with a question mark, because no expedition has ever found its bottom. You find that thought settling into you slowly, without any fear attached to it, just curiosity and a kind of pleasant anticipation, the way you might feel the night before a long-awaited trip. The vessel's captain, a woman with sun-creased eyes and silver hair pulled back in a loose braid, walks past and rests a hand briefly on the railing beside you. "Good morning, Ford," she says, nodding toward the water, calm as I've ever seen. You nod back, and she moves on, unhurried, checking in with the rest of the crew. Beyond the boat, the ocean stretches out in every direction, an enormous sheet of hammered turquoise glass, barely disturbed by the gentlest of swells. Somewhere far off, a shape breaks the surface, a fin maybe, or just a trick of the light, and then it is gone, and the water closes smoothly over wherever it had been. You finish the last of your drink and set the mug down. It is time to begin preparing. The dive gear is laid out along a long bench that runs the length of the deck. Each piece cleaned and checked with the kind of care that only people who trust their lives to their equipment can manage. A wet suit, cool and slightly damp against your skin as you pull it on. A weight belt, heavier than you remember, settling comfortably against your hips. A mask, which you spit into and rub around the inside of the lens, an old habit, before rinsing it clean in a bucket of seawater. Nobody speaks much. There isn't a need to. The quiet here isn't awkward. It's companionable. The kind of silence that settles over people who are all looking forward to the same thing. You check your gauges one more time. Air, pressure, depth, all reading exactly as they should. The tank settles onto your back with familiar weight, and for a moment you simply stand there, feeling the gentle sway of the deck beneath your boots, listening to the ocean breathe against the hull. Far ahead, Past the bow of the boat, you can just make out a change in the color of the water. A deep, impossible sapphire ring, set into the pale turquoise shallows like a dark eye staring up at the sky. The blue hole. You look at it for a long moment, and something in you feels calm. Ready? Whatever is down there, you have the feeling that it has been waiting a very long time, patient and quiet, for someone to finally come and see it. The engines throttle down to a soft idle. The anchor chain rattles out, link by link, and settles somewhere below. The boat slows and stops and rests directly above the dark blue circle. It is time to begin your descent. You sit on the edge of the dive platform. Fins already secured, mask pushed up onto your forehead for now, letting the sun warm your face one last time before the cool water takes away. Around you, the rest of the small dive team makes their final checks. A marine biologist named Theo double-checks the housing on an underwater camera, turning it over in his hands, inspecting each seal. A geologist, Priya, slips a slate and pencil into a pocket on her thigh, the kind used for taking notes underwater, jotting down observations no one back on land could otherwise verify. The water beneath you is so clear it barely seems to exist at all. Looking straight down, you can see the sandy bottom of the shallows some 10 meters below, rippled gently by the current, scattered with pale coral heads and drifting shadows of fish. Ready when you are, the dive master says, his voice calm, unbothered, like he said the word 1,000 times before, because he has. You pull your mask down over your eyes and nose, seat it properly. Take one slow breath through the regulator to be sure everything is working the way it should. The air tastes faintly of rubber and salt, familiar and comforting. One by one, the others slip backward off the platform, disappearing beneath the surface with soft, muffled splashes, trailing strings of silver bubbles behind them. You go last. The moment the water closes over you, the world changes completely. The heat of a morning sun disappears, replaced by a gentle, all-over coolness that seems to hold you rather than chill you. Sound changes too. The creak of the boat, the calling gulls, all of it fades into a soft, muffled hush, replaced by the low hum of your own breathing to the regulator, slow and steady, in and out, in and out. You hang there for a moment weightless, suspended in a column of blue-green light, watching sunbeams slice down to the water in long, shifting shafts, each one alive with drifting particles of sand and plankton, catching the light like slow-falling snow. Below you, the reef begins. Coral formations rise up from the sandy floor in fantastic shapes. Branching antlers of staghorn coral, smooth folded domes of brain coral, delicate fans that sway gently with the current, purple and gold and the softest pink. Small reef fish dart between them in flashes of electric blue and yellow, moving in loose, unhurried schools, utterly unbothered by your presence. You begin your descent slowly, equalize and pressing your ears with each small movement downward, feeling the water grow ever so slightly cooler, ever so slightly darker as the meters pass beneath you. A spotted eagle ray glides past below, its wide wings moving in slow, graceful undulations, like it is flying rather than swimming, its long tail trailing behind it. You watch it go, feeling something settle deep inside your chest, a kind of quiet wonder that asks nothing of you except to notice. The dive team spreads out gently, each person finding their own natural rhythm, their own space in the water. Theo lingers near a cluster of anemone, patient, waiting for the perfect moment to press the shutter. Priya runs a gloved hand along an outcrop of pale limestone, feeling its texture, already forming theories about how old this reef might be. Ahead of you, the seafloor begins to change. The gentle slope of sand and coral gives way, quite suddenly, to a wide, dark rim. The very edge of the blue hole itself, a perfect circle cut into the reef, as though someone had traced it with a compass 1,000 years ago. You swim toward it slowly, unhurried, and hover at the very edge, looking down. Below you, the vivid turquoise water simply stops. It deepens and deepens and deepens further, fading from bright blue to a deep, dusky indigo, and finally into a soft, velvet darkness that your eyes cannot quite penetrate. Somewhere down there, past all that colored water, is a bottom no one has ever found. You take one more slow breath, feel the reassuring weight of the tank against your back, and begin to descend into the blue. The transition happens gradually, so gradually you almost don't notice it happening at all. The bright turquoise of the shallows softens, deepens, cools. The warm gold cast of the morning sun grows fainter with every meter, replaced by a rich, saturated blue that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, as though the water itself were glowing softly from within. You check your depth gauge, 15 meters, then 20. The rim of the blue hole rises above you now, a wide, jagged ring of pale limestone and living coral, growing smaller and smaller as you sink further down into the wide, calm mouth of the hole. The walls, when you glance toward them, curve outward and then gently inward again, forming an enormous rounded chamber, easily the size of several football fields laid end to end. Ledges of ancient rock jet out at odd intervals, some crusted with delicate soft corals, others bare and smooth, worn by countless centuries of slow-moving water. A school of silver jacks moves past you in a tight, shimmering formation, hundreds of them turning together as one single, fluid shape, catching the fading light along their flanks like a wall of moving mirrors. You pause, weightless, and watch them swirl and reform, an endless slow-motion dance with no beginning and no end. Theo drifts nearby, camera raised, capturing the moment in complete, patient silence. Further down, you spot a hawksbill turtle resting on a wide stone ledge, its shell mottled amber and brown, utterly unbothered by the strange visitors descending past its home. It blinks at you slowly, almost sleepily, and you feel an odd kinship with it. Both of you simply floating here together in this quiet blue cathedral. The light continues to change as you go deeper. What was once a bright, sun-washed turquoise has become a deep sapphire, rich and cool, wrapping around you like a warm blanket made of water and light. Every few meters, you pause to equalize, to check your gauges, to simply hang suspended and take in the vastness around you. Small reef fish thin out the deeper you go, replaced by occasional flashes of larger shapes moving at the edges of your vision. A solitary barracuda, silver and still, hanging motionless in the water like a blade left hovering in midair. A pair of remmers drifting along, waiting for a larger companion that never quite appears. 40 meters now. The rim of the blue hole is a distant pale ring far above you, and the walls around you have grown wider, opening into a cavernous space that no longer feels like a simple hole in the reef, but something far older, far larger, a place that has been patiently waiting here for longer than anyone could easily imagine. You notice, gradually, that the light is changing in a different way now, not just darkening, but narrowing, the once wide shafts of sunlight above you converging into a single soft column, like a spotlight cast down to the surface far above. Priya taps her slate lightly and holds it up for you to see. On it, in careful pencil, she has written a single word: incredible. You nod and smile behind your mask and continue to sink gently downward, weightless, unhurried, into the deepening blue. The dive computer on your wrist reads 55 meters. Still no sign of a bottom. Still no walls closing in around you. Just soft blue water and drifting light, and the occasional graceful shape of some creature passing by. Utterly at home in this strange and beautiful place. Somewhere above you, faint and distant, you can just make out the muffled shape of the boat's hull, a dark oval far up near the surface, growing smaller with every passing minute. Below you, the darkness waits, patient and vast, and you continue to sink gently into it, unafraid, curious, entirely at peace. By the time your gauge reads 70 meters, the world around you has changed into something entirely new. The bright blue of the upper water has deepened into a soft, dusky indigo, the kind of color that exists just before true night falls, when the last of the daylight lingers stubbornly at the edges of the sky. Above you, the surface is no longer visible at all. Only a faint, diffuse glow, softened by the enormous weight of water between you and it. The dive team has switched on their lights now. Small handheld beams that cut clean, pale columns to the deepening blue. You do the same, and your own light joins theirs, for gentle cones of illumination drifting slowly downward together through the dark. The walls of the chamber have drawn closer here, the vast open space of the upper blue hole narrowing gradually into something more like a wide, descending shaft. Ledges of pale rock catch your light and throw it back in soft, chalky reflections. Here and there, delicate white formations cling to the stone. Not coral, you realize, but something else. Something that has never seen the sun. A shape drifts past your light, and you turn to follow it with your beam. It takes you a moment to understand what you're looking at, a jellyfish. But unlike any you've seen before, its bell nearly translucent, faintly striped with lines of soft blue bioluminescence that pulse gently, rhythmically, like a slow and peaceful heartbeat. It drifts past you in complete silence, utterly indifferent to your presence, trailing long, delicate tendrils that catch the light like spun glass. Theo gestures excitedly, pointing his camera toward it, careful not to disturb its slow, drifting path. More shapes begin to appear the deeper you go. A small school of fish, pale and nearly translucent, their bodies threaded with faint lines of blue light along their sides, moving together in loose, unhurried formation. A crab-like creature, larger than any reef crab you've seen before, clinging to an outcrop of rock with long, delicate legs, its shell etched with strange whorl patterns that seem almost deliberate, almost carved. You continue your descent slowly, savoring the strangeness of it all, feeling no urgency, no fear, only a deepening sense of wonder, the kind that makes you want to slow down even further, to look a little longer at everything that passes. The walls around you begin to change texture. Where the rock above was rough, pitted, eaten away by centuries of slow erosion, the stone here grows smoother. Too smooth, almost, for something shaped only by water and time. In places, faint parallel grooves run along the surface, evenly spaced, like the marks left by careful, patient tools. You run a gloved hand along one such groove as you pass, feeling its cool, worn edges beneath your fingers. Priya slows beside you, studying the same stretch of wall, tilting her head slightly, clearly turning some new theory over in her mind. Ahead, passage widens again, and the beams of your lights catch glimpses of openings branching off in the main shaft. Dark mouths of tunnels leading away into the rock in every direction, some barely wide enough for a single diver, others large enough to swallow the entire boat above hold. Ancient cave systems, threading away into the unknown dark, patient and silent, waiting. You hover for a moment at the mouth of the widest passage, feeling the gentle current pull at you, faint and warm, carry with it the barest hint of something mineral, something old. The dive master signals gently, this way, and leads you onward, deeper still, into the smooth, carved dark. The tunnel you follow now feels less like a natural cave and more like a hallway, though you tell yourself, gently, that this must simply be an illusion born of tired eyes and deep, dim water. The walls curve in a smooth, unbroken arc above and around you, wide enough for the four of you to swim comfortably side by side. Every few meters, faint parallel ridges run along the stone in perfect, even lines, as though something patient and precise had smoothed this passage long ago. Your light catches on small alcoves set into walls at regular intervals, each one just large enough to hold a single object, though all of them now sit empty, save for a thin layer of pale silk that drifts lazily when your bubbles brush too close. You pause at one such alcove, hovering gently, and shine your light inside. Nothing but smooth stone and settled dust. And yet you find yourself lingering there a moment longer than you need to, wondering, quietly, what might once have rested inside. Priya taps you gently on the shoulder and holds up her slate. Man-made, it reads, followed by a small, uncertain question mark. You shrug, and she shrugs back, and the two of you continue on unhurried deeper into the passage. The bioluminescent life grows more abundant here, threading the darkness with soft, scattered points of blue and green light, like a night sky slowly emerging as your eyes adjust. Tiny creatures drift past in loose clouds, some no larger than a grain of rice, each one glowing faintly, pulsing gently in slow, unsynchronized rhythm. A larger shape catches your eye further down the passage, long, sinuous, moving with slow, deliberate grace. An eel, you think at first, though as it draws near you realize it is far larger than any eel you've ever encountered, its body banded with faint stripes of soft luminescent blue that ripple gently as it moves, like light traveling along a wire. It regards you with mild, unhurried curiosity, dark eyes catching your lamp for just a moment, before turning gracefully away and disappearing into a side passage, leaving only a faint, fading trail of blue light behind it. You find yourself smiling behind your mask again. There is something profoundly peaceful about this place, despite its strangeness, despite the impossible smoothness of the walls, despite the empty alcoves, despite the sense, growing steadily stronger, that people had once moved through this exact passage, long before you. The tunnel widens further, opening into a broad chamber where several other passages converge, branching away into the darkness like the spokes of some enormous wheel. Your light cannot reach the far walls here, and for a moment you simply hover in the center of the space, turning slowly, taking in the sheer scale of it. Faint glowing organisms drift along the ceiling far above, scatter like distant stars, casting the barest hint of blue-green light down over everything below. The dive master checks his gauges, checks the depth, checks the time, and gestures to the group to continue forward, choosing the widest of the branching passages ahead. You follow, unhurried, weightless, trailing your fingers gently along the smooth stone wall as you go, feeling the faint, worn grooves pass beneath your glove, wondering, without any real worry attached to the thought, just how far down and how far back in time this passage might actually lead. Somewhere ahead, the tunnel curves gently downward again, and the warm, mineral-scented current grows just a touch stronger, drawing you onward into the deep, glowing dark. The deeper you travel, the more the ocean seems to reveal itself in layers, like a book opening slowly, page by careful page. A cluster of soft, pulsing shapes drifts into view ahead. A group of comb jellies, their bodies almost invisible except for the shifting rainbow shimmer that runs along their rows of tiny paddling cilia, catching your lamplight and scattering it into brief, beautiful flashes of color. They tumble gently through the water, entirely unbothered by the current, entirely unbothered by you. You slow your fins and simply watch them drift past, feeling the last of any lingering tension in your shoulders melt quietly away. There is nothing here to fear, nothing rushing toward you, nothing hunting, nothing sharp-edged or threatening. Only slow, gentle life, existing exactly as it has for longer than anyone can say. Theo drifts closer to the comb jellies, careful not to disturb them, adjusting his camera settings with practiced, unhurried movements. Priya has stopped near a wide outcrop of stone, running her light slowly along a series of faint markings etched into its surface. Not quite writing, not quite pattern, something in between, weathered nearly smooth by time and water. You continue onward through the passage, and the walls around you begin to widen once more, the ceiling arching higher overhead, easily 20 meters above you now, disappearing into soft darkness punctuated by scattered points of glowing life. A shoal of small, pale fish moves past in a long, unhurried ribbon, their bodies nearly transparent, each one marked along its spine with a single thin line of soft golden light. They part smoothly around you as you swim, reforming their loose formation just behind you, utterly unconcerned. Further along, resting atop a wide ledge of pale stone, you spot what looks, at first glance, like an enormous sea star, but far larger than any you've encountered before. Its 5 thick arms spanning what must be nearly 2 meters across, its surface a deep violet color, faintly patterned with soft, glowing blue speckles that seem to shift and swirl the longer you watch them, like slow-moving constellations. You hover above it for a long moment, and it does not move, content simply to rest there in the dark, glowing softly, patient beyond patience. The current continues to draw you gently forward and downward, and the tunnel begins to slope more steeply now, curving in a long, smooth arc that carries you deeper into the rock. Every few meters, the passage opens briefly into small side chambers, each one glowing faintly with its own small ecosystem of drifting, luminous life. Clusters of anemone-like creatures swaying gently on the walls, small shrimp-like organisms scuttling along ledges, trailing faint threads of light behind them. You find yourself entirely absorbed in it all, the passage of time slipping away from you as easily as the water slips past your skin. There is no sense of hurry here, no sense that you need to be anywhere else, doing anything else, except drifting slowly forward through this quiet, glowing world, watching it unfold gently around you. The dive master checks his gauges again, murmurs something quiet through his regulator that sounds almost like a laugh of disbelief, and continues leading the group forward, deeper still, following the widening passage as it curves gently downward into the smooth, ancient dark. Ahead, you can just make out where the tunnel opens into something larger, a soft, diffuse glow spilling out from around a bend in the rock, warm and inviting, unlike anything you've yet encountered in this strange and beautiful descent. You round the bend slowly, and the passage opens into the largest chamber yet. The ceiling arches far overhead, lost somewhere in the soft haze of drifting particles and scattered bioluminescent light, and the walls curve outward on either side in smooth, sweeping arcs carved. You're almost certain now, though you still cannot quite believe it, by something other than simple time and water. Great columns of pale stone rise from the floor of the chamber at intervals, thick as ancient trees, each one worn smooth, each one catching your lamplight and casting it back in a soft, chalky glow. Between them, delicate curtains of translucent life drift gently in the slow current. Colonies of some soft, core-like organism you don't recognize, pulsing faintly with threads of blue-green light along their edges. You drift forward through the space slowly, turning your light across the walls, and here and there you catch the faint suggestion of shapes worked into the stone, long, sweeping lines that might be waves, might be currents, might be something else entirely, all of it softened and rounded by centuries upon centuries of gentle erosion. Priya stopped near one of the great columns, her light held steady, studying a series of faint markings that spiral upward along its surface. She reaches out with one gloved hand and touches the stone gently, almost reverently, before turning to look back at you with wide eyes visible even behind her mask. You swim closer, and together you study the markings in silence, feeling the quiet weight of something very old settle around you both, though neither of you feels frightened by it. If anything, the feeling is closer to comfort, the particular, gentle comfort of standing somewhere that has been cared for once, long ago, by hands not so different from your own. The dive master's light sweeps across the chamber floor, and you follow it to see a wide, shallow depression carved into the stone, its edges smooth and rounded, filled now with a soft drift of pale silt and small, glowing organisms that pulse gently in slow unison, like a pool of captured starlight. Theo hovers above it, camera rays, capturing image after image in patient, careful silence. You check your gauges once more. The depth reading continues to climb, slow and steady. And yet you feel no strain, no pressure, no sense that anything is wrong. If anything, the water here feels gentler than it did higher up, softer, somehow, as though this entire cavern exists in a kind of quiet suspension outside the usual rules of depth and darkness. A shape passes high overhead, large and slow-moving. You tilt your light upward to follow it. A manta ray, impossibly, drifting through this deep cavern water with the same unhurried grace it might show gliding through open ocean sunlight far above. Its wide wings catch the scattered glow of the bioluminescent life around it. And for a moment, you swear you can see faint patterns of light rippling along its pale underside, as if it, too, carries its own small constellation. You watch it disappear into the soft dark at the far edge of the chamber, and feel a familiar, gentle wonder settle over you once more. The dive master signals to the group to continue, and you follow unhurried, drifting onward to the wide, glowing chamber, toward another passage opening ahead, narrower this time, but glowing faintly at its far end, as though something waits just beyond it, patient and warm and quietly alive. You notice at first on your dive computer a small, insistent flicker where the depth reading should be. You tap the display gently, expecting the usual momentary glitch, the kind any piece of equipment might show this deep beneath the surface. But the numbers do not steady. Instead, they simply stop, frozen at a depth that, by any reasonable measure, should already have been impossible to reach on a single tank of air. You glance toward the others. Priya taps her own gauge, frowning slightly behind her mask, and shows you her slate. Mine too. It reads, followed by a small, thoughtful shrug rather than any sign of alarm. Strangely, you find that you are not alarmed either. If anything, a quiet calm settles more firmly over you, as though some part of you has already decided, gently and without argument, that this place simply does not follow the rules you brought down here with you. You continue forward to the passage, and it is not long before you notice something else. The water around you has grown warmer, not by a small amount, not the faint fluctuation you might expect near some deep geothermal vent, but a slow, steady warming, gentle and pleasant, like sinking into a bath drawn just a few degrees above body temperature. You reach out and let the water pass between your fingers, marveling quietly at the sensation. Everything you know about the ocean tells you it should be growing colder here, not warmer. And yet here you are, wrapped in water that feels, more than anything, like being held. The tunnel continues to widen as you go, its walls smoothing further still, until they seem almost polished, catching your lamplight and scattering it into soft, diffuse washes of pale gold and blue. Faint currents drift past you, warm and slow, carry with them the barest trace of something sweet, something mineral, something that reminds you, distantly, of rain falling on warm stone. The bioluminescent life around you grows richer with every passing minute. Tiny organisms drift in loose, shimmering clouds, some pulsing gently in unison, others blinking in slow, unpredictable patterns, like a vast field of fireflies suspended in still summer air. You find yourself slowing your fins simply to watch them drift past, their soft blue-green light catching against the pale stone walls and casting long, gentle shadows that shift and sway with the current. Theo drifts nearby, his camera lowered now, seemingly as content simply to watch as to record. Even he, usually so meticulous, so focused on capturing every detail, seems to have surrendered to the same quiet wonder that has settled over the rest of the group. The dive master pauses at the center of the widening passage and turns slowly in place, sweeping his light across the smooth stone walls, the drifting light, the warm, gentle current. He turns back to the group, and even through his mask, you can see the small, disbelieving smile on his face. None of this should be possible. And yet here you all are, weightless, warm, glowing softly in borrowed light, drifting ever deeper into a passage that seems more and more to be leading you somewhere it very much wants you to go. Ahead, the tunnel curves gently once more, and beyond the curve, you can just make out a wide, pale shape rising from the floor and reaching toward the ceiling, an archway, vast and ancient, its surface worn smooth by centuries of warm, patient water. You swim toward it slowly, unhurried, weightless, entirely at peace. The archway rises before you, enormous, easily 3 times the height of a diver, its curved surface worn to a soft, pale smoothness by what must be centuries of slow-moving water. You drift closer, and your light catches on faint carvings etched into the stone along its edges, long, sweeping lines that curl and interlock in patterns too deliberate, too rhythmic, to be anything but intentional. Waves, perhaps, or currents, or something else entirely, softened by time into gentle suggestions rather than sharp, readable detail. Priya hovers beside the archway, running her light slowly along its base, where the stone meets the sandy floor of the passage. She reaches out and brushes away a thin layer of silt, revealing more of the same careful, curling pattern beneath. You find yourself simply floating there for a while, taking it all in, the scale of it, the age of it, the quiet, patient beauty of something built with such obvious care, so very far beneath the world you came from. Small fish drift lazily through the open space of the archway, pale and nearly translucent, threading in and out of the carved patterns as if they too are simply visiting, simply passing through on their way to somewhere else. The dive master gestures gently toward the archway, and the meaning is clear enough without words. Through here, you take one last look back the way you came. The smooth stone passage stretching away behind you, glowing faintly with drifting motes of blue-green light. And then you turn back toward the archway and swim slowly forward, passing beneath its ancient curve. The moment you pass through, something shifts. It is subtle at first, a change in the pressure against your skin, a change in quality of the light, a change in the way the water seems to move around you, gentler now, slower, as though you have crossed some quiet threshold the ocean itself observes. Beyond the archway, the passage widens dramatically, and your light can no longer find the walls on either side. The ceiling, too, disappears into a soft, warm haze far above, scattered faintly with points of blue-green light that seem, for a moment, disorientingly similar to stars. You check your gauges out of habit, though you already suspect what you'll find. The depth reading remains frozen, unmoving, and yet you feel no pressure, no strain, no sense of crushing weight that should by now be pressing it on you from every side. If anything, you feel lighter than you did before, as though the water itself has decided to carry a little more of your weight for you. The warmth continues to build, gentle and pleasant, wrapping around you like a slow embrace. Tiny glowing organisms drift past in greater numbers now, filling the water around you with soft, scattered light, catching against your mask, your gear, the pale stone walls somewhere beyond the reach of your lamp. You glance toward the others and find them all wearing the same expression you imagine is on your own face. Wide-eyed wonder, softened by an unshakable gentle calm, the kind of feeling you might get standing at the edge of somewhere vast and beautiful and entirely unbothered by your presence. The dive master checks his compass, checks his gauges once more, and then simply shakes his head slowly, as if to say it doesn't matter, not right now, and continues forward deeper into the warm, glowing dark that waits beyond the ancient archway. You follow, weightless, unhurried, drifting onward through water that grows warmer and softer and more filled with gentle, drifting light with every passing meter. The passage beyond the archway continues to widen, gently and steadily, until it no longer feels like a passage at all, but something closer to open water, vast and warm and softly glowing. You drift forward weightless, carried along by a slow, warm current that seems to know exactly where it's going, even if you do not. Around you, the bioluminescent organisms have grown thick enough now to cast a faint, ambient glow across everything. The pale stone far below, the soft haze of the water itself, the drifting shapes of your companions, each one outlined in a gentle wash of blue-green light. You reach out and let a small cluster of the glowing organisms drift across your open palm, watching them pulse gently, rhythmically, like a slow and patient heartbeat. They do not startle at your touch, do not scatter or flee, simply continue their slow, quiet glow, entirely unbothered. Somewhere below you, larger shapes move through the deep, warm water, long, graceful forms that catch the ambient light along their sides as they pass, though you cannot quite make out what they are. Fish, perhaps, or something else, something that has lived its entire long life in this hidden, glowing world. never once needing to know what lies far above. The dive master's light continues to lead the way forward, and you follow, feeling the current grow ever so slightly stronger, ever so slightly warmer, carrying you onward with a gentle, insistent pull that feels less like being swept along and more like being welcomed. Theo drifts near you, his camera raised again now, capturing slow, sweeping shots of the glowing water around you, though even through his mask you can see that some part of him has simply stopped trying to document everything, has simply surrendered instead to watching it unfold. Priya swims close beside you for a while, her light tracing the vague outline of distant stone formations far below, murmuring something through her regulator that you could not quite make out, though her tone carries the same soft, "When do you feel yourself?" You find your thoughts slowing, softening, the way they might in the last moments before sleep, not confused, not foggy, simply quiet, simply present, entirely absorbed in the gentle rhythm of your own breathing and the warm, glowing water sliding past your skin. Ahead, the darkness begins to change once more. A faint brightening spreads across the water, subtle at first, then steadily more distinct. Not the cool blue-green of the bioluminescent organisms around you, but something warmer, richer, a soft golden glow that seems to rise from somewhere far below and ahead. You swim toward it slowly, unhurried, feeling your pulse settle into an easy, peaceful rhythm that matches the slow current carrying you forward. The passage begins to open wider still, the walls falling away on either side until they're little more than distant suggestions at the very edge of your light, and the golden glow ahead grows steadily brighter, spreading out to fill more and more of your vision, until it feels less like a light at the end of a tunnel, and more like the gentle first light of a sunrise, somehow captured and held here, deep beneath the world. The dive master slows, and turns back toward the group, and even through his mask you can see the quiet astonishment on his face. Ahead, past the last curve of the passage, the tunnel opens completely, and beyond it, impossibly beautifully, lies something none of you could ever have imagined finding this far beneath the sea. You emerge from the tunnel slowly, and the world opens around you in every direction at once. It takes a long moment for your mind to fully understand what your eyes are showing you. An enormous underground sea stretches out before you, so vast that your lamp cannot begin to find its edges. Above, where you expect only more stone, more darkness, there's instead a soaring cavern ceiling, arching so high overhead that it disappears into a soft haze, scattered from edge to edge with countless points of gentle, glowing light. Thousands upon thousands of tiny bioluminescent organisms, clustered together across the stone like a sky full of quiet, patient stars. You hang there in the water, utterly still, simply taking it in. Great crystalline formations rise up from the depths around you, some taller than buildings, their surfaces catching the ambient glow of the cavern and refracting it into soft, shifting washes of blue and gold and violet. They seem to pulse gently with their own inner light, as though something deeper than the stone itself has slowly, patiently, been gathering warmth and radiance for centuries beyond counting. Small islands of pale stone float, or seem to float, resting perhaps on unseen pillars beneath the surface, scattered gently across the wide, calm water, each one softened by patches of pale, glowing moss and delicate, luminous vines that drape down toward the water surface like slow curtains of captured light. You break the surface gently, and find that the air here impossibly is breathable, warm, faintly sweet, carrying the scent of something like rain on stone, something like distant flowers. You lower your regulator slowly, cautiously, and take one careful breath, then another, and find your body settling into an easy, natural rhythm, no different than breathing the air on the boat far, far above, the other surface around you one by one. Masks pushed up, faces turned upward in open wonder toward the impossible, glowing ceiling far above. It's a sky, Theo says quietly, his voice hushed with disbelief, though there's no true sky here at all, only stone and light and the patient work of countless generations of small, glowing creatures. You float there together for a long while, saying little, simply looking. The water beneath you is warm and gentle, rocking you softly, and around you the great crystal formations rise like silent guardians, glowing faintly, beautifully, utterly unbothered by the small, astonished visitors who have finally found their way here. Somewhere in the distance, you hear a low, resonant sound roll gently across the water, deep, mournful, beautiful, unmistakably the song of a whale, though how such a creature could exist in this hidden sea, you cannot begin to guess. The sound rises and falls, echoing softly off the crystal formations and the distant cavern walls, before fading slowly back into the quiet. You feel your body relax further still, weightless in the warm water, cradled by gentle ripples, surrounded by soft, drifting light on every side. There is no urgency here, no sense that you need to move or search or understand everything all at once. Only a deep, settling calm, the kind that asks nothing of you except to rest and watch and breathe. The dive master treads water nearby, looking around slowly, his expression caught somewhere between disbelief and profound peace. After a long moment, he simply says quietly, "Let's see where this leads," and begins swimming unhurried toward the nearest of the small, glowing islands. You follow, drifting easily through the warm, gentle water, beneath a ceiling full of soft, patient stars, toward whatever waits ahead in this vast and hidden sea. You swim slowly between the great crystal formations, marveling at their scale. Up close, they are even more beautiful than they appeared from a distance. Vast columns of pale, faceted stone, rising up out of the calm water and reaching high overhead, their surfaces catching and scattering the soft ambient glow of the cavern into countless small rainbows that shift and dance with every gentle ripple of the water around you. You reach out and let your fingers trail along the surface of the nearest formation as you pass, feeling its cool, smooth facets beneath your glove. Deep within the crystal, you can just make out faint threads of soft light, pulsing gently, rhythmically, like something alive and slow and patient, breathing quietly within the stone. Priya swims close beside one of the formations, her earlier slate forgotten now, simply resting her palm flat against the crystal surface, her expression soft with wonder rather than analysis, for once content simply to feel rather than measure. Small fish move between the crystal towers in slow, unhurried schools, their scales catching the scattered light and throwing it back in brief, beautiful flashes. Occasionally, you catch sight of larger shapes drifting further out across the wide, calm water, long, graceful forms, pale and softly glowing along their sides, moving with the same slow, peaceful patience as everything else in this hidden sea. The whale song rises again, closer now, resonant and deep, rolling gently across the water and echoing softly off the crystal formations around you. You float still for a moment, letting the sound wash over you, feeling it settle into your chest like a low, comforting hum. Ahead, the crystal towers begin to thin, and you catch your first proper glimpse of one of the small floating islands up close. Its surface is covered in soft, glowing moss, pale green shot through with threads of gentle blue light, and delicate vine-like plants drape down toward the water's edge, their leaves catching the ambient glow and holding it, seeming to breathe softly with their own quiet luminescence. You swim toward it slowly, and as you draw nearer, you begin to notice something else. Faint, worn shapes rising from the island's surface, softened by moss and time, but unmistakably deliberate. Stonework, you realize, the remains of something built long ago by hands that understood exactly how to shape this warm, hidden world into something beautiful and lasting. The dive master reaches the island first and hauls himself gently up onto its mossy shore, careful not to disturb the glowing plants more than necessary. He turns back and offers a hand to help the rest of you up one by one until you are all standing, actually standing, weight settling comfortably onto solid ground for the first time in what feels like hours on the soft, glowing surface of the small island. You look around slowly, taking it all in, the wide, calm sea stretching out around you, dotted with more of the small floating islands, each one softly lit by its own gentle blanket of luminous moss, the towering crystal formations rising up between them, glowing faintly in the warm, humid air, the vast, star-scattered ceiling arching high overhead, patient and quiet and endlessly beautiful. We should keep exploring, Priya says softly, her voice carrying easily across the still, quiet air. There's more here. I can feel it. You nod in agreement, and together, unhurried, entirely at peace, the four of you begin making your way across the small island toward a narrow, moss-covered path that seems to lead onward, deeper into this hidden and dreamlike world. The path winds gently along the edge of the small island, worn smooth by countless years of water and time, though there is no sign that any foot has walked it for a very long while. You follow it slowly, your bare feet. You had removed your fins somewhere back near the shore, without quite remembering the decision, finding the soft, mossy stone surprisingly warm and pleasant beneath them. The glowing plants along the path seem to brighten faintly as you pass, as though responding gently and without urgency to your presence. The path leads you across a narrow, natural bridge of pale stone, connecting your island to a slightly larger one nearby, the warm water lapping softly at its edges far below. You cross carefully, though there is no real danger here. The water beneath is calm and warm, and you find yourself thinking with a small private smile that even a fall would likely feel more like being embraced than like falling at all. On the far side, the second island opens up wider than the first, its surface dotted with more of the same soft, glowing moss, interrupted here and there by low, rounded shapes that might once have been benches or markers or something else entirely, now worn nearly featureless by time. Theo pauses beside one such shape, running his light slowly across its surface, revealing the faint suggestion of carved patterns beneath the moss, spirals and waves, echoing the same designs you saw etched into the archway far behind you. Someone lived here, he says quietly, and it isn't really a question. You continue on together, following the path as it winds further across the island, past small groves of tall, slender plants that glow with a soft, silvery light along their stalks, swaying gently though there is no wind here at all, only the faint, warm currents of air drifting up from the water's surface. The whale song rises again in the distance, low and beautiful, and this time you catch sight of the source, a massive, pale shape gliding slowly through the deep water far beyond the islands, its long body catching threads of soft light along its sides as it moves, utterly unhurried, utterly at peace in this hidden world it clearly calls home. You watch it for a long moment before it disappears beneath the surface again, leaving only slow, spreading ripples behind. Ahead, the path begins to slope gently upward, rising toward a low ridge near the center of the island. And as you crest it, you catch your first proper glimpse of what lies beyond. Nestled in a wide, sheltered cove on the far side of the ridge, half swallowed by soft coral growths and drifting curtains of luminous vine, stand the unmistakable shapes of buildings, low, rounded structures of pale stone, their rooftops long since collapsed or overgrown, their walls still standing and graceful, curving lines that speak of careful, patient craftsmanship. You stop at the top of the ridge, and for a long moment, none of you say anything at all. The dive master lets out a slow breath beside you, and Priya reaches for her slate out of pure habit, before seeming to think better of it, simply letting her hand fall back to her side instead. Below you, quiet and still and beautifully preserved, waits what can only be the remains of an entire civilization. Hidden here, deep beneath the world, for longer than any of you can begin to guess. You begin your descent down the far side of the ridge, slowly, reverently, toward the quiet ruins waiting below. The path leads you down into the sheltered cove, and the first thing you find at the water's edge are the docks. They stretch out along the shoreline in long, graceful curves, built from the same pale stone as everything else in this hidden world. Worn smooth by centuries of gentle water, but otherwise remarkably intact. Wide stone steps descend directly into the warm, glowing sea, as though built for boats or swimmers that have not returned to use them in a very, very long time. You walk slowly along the edge of the nearest dock, your bare feet finding the stone pleasantly warm, faintly damp, softened here and there by thin patches of luminous moss that seem to have crept up gently from the water's edge over the centuries. Delicate carvings run along the low stone railing beside you, the same curling, wave-like patterns you noticed before, though clearer here, better preserved, protected perhaps by the shelter of the cove from the worst of the water's slow erosion. You trace one pattern with your fingertip, feeling the smooth grooves beneath your skin, and find yourself wondering, gently, what kind of hands once carved these same lines, what they might have been thinking as they worked. Priya crouches near the edge of the dock, studying a series of small, evenly spaced holes carved into stone, worn round and smooth by time. Mooring points, she says softly, almost to herself. For boats. You nod and continue walking unhurried, taking the quiet beauty of the place. Small glowing fish drift lazily in the shallow water beside the dock, weaving between drifting strands of luminous plant life, utterly undisturbed by your presence. Further along, the dock widens into a broad, circular platform, its center marked by a faint, weathered depression, as though something once stood there, a statue perhaps, or a marker of some kind, long since worn away or removed. Around its edges, low stone benches curve in gentle arc, facing out toward the water, toward the vast, glowing sea and the towering crystal formations rising up in the near distance. You sit for a moment on one of the benches, simply looking out at the view. The whale song rises again, faint and distant, rolling gently across the still water. The soft, star-scattered ceiling glows quietly far overhead. The crystal towers catch and scatter threads of ambient light in slow, shifting patterns. It occurs to you, sitting there, that whoever built this place understood something important about how to live well, how to build not just for shelter, but for beauty, for rest, for quiet moments spent simply looking out at the water. There is no sense here of hurried construction, a function without care. Every stone, every carving, every gentle curve of the dock seems to have been placed with patience, with intention, with something very close to love. The dive master joins on the bench for a moment, saying nothing, simply resting, letting his shoulders drop in a long, easy exhale. After a while, Theo calls out softly from further down the shoreline, his voice carrying easily across the still air. "There's more," he says. "Buildings. A lot of them." You rise slowly from the bench, taking one last look out at the wide, glowing sea, and then turn to follow the sound of his voice, walking together along the quiet, ancient dock, deeper into the heart of this hidden and long-abandoned world. The buildings rise up before you in gentle, curving rows, following the natural contour of the cove. Each one built from the same pale stone, softened now by centuries of coral growth that has crept up their walls in slow, delicate patterns of pink and white and soft lavender. You walk between them slowly, marveling at how the coral seems to have grown not over the buildings, exactly, but almost with them, following the lines of their architecture as though it, too, understood and respected the careful design beneath it. Doorways stand open, their wooden frames long since dissolved away, leaving only smooth stone archways, some low enough to duck beneath, others rising high overhead in graceful, soaring curves. You step through one such archway into what must once have been a large, open hall. The roof here is collapsed in gentle, weathered sections, allowing soft threads of ambient light to filter down from the glowing ceiling far above, scattering across a floor patterned with small, worn mosaic tiles. Their original colors softened by time into gentle, muted pastels. Priya crouches near the center of the floor, brushing away a thin layer of silt with careful fingers, revealing more of the mosaic beneath, a wide, sweeping pattern that might depict waves or currents, or perhaps even the great crystal formations themselves, rendered here in small, painstaking pieces of colored stone. You continue deeper into the building, passing through a series of smaller rooms, each one quiet and still, softly lit by drifting motes of bioluminescent light that seem to gather here, in these calm, sheltered spaces, more thickly than out in the open cove. In one room, you find the remains of what might once have been shelving carved directly into the stone walls, now empty, save for a fine layer of pale sediment. In another, larger room, you find something that makes you stop and simply stand still for a long moment. Rows upon rows of shelving line the walls, rising from floor to ceiling, each shelf lined with the softened, coral-encrusted remains of what can only be scrolls or tablets, or some other long-vanished form of writing, preserved just enough by the strange, gentle chemistry of this hidden sea to retain their basic shape, if not their original detail. A library, you say quietly, and your voice seems to carry gently through the still, silent room. Theo moves carefully between the shelves, his camera raised, capturing image after image of the fragile, coral-softened remains. Priya reaches out toward one shelf, hesitates, and then gently withdraws her hand, seeming to understand, without needing to say it aloud, that some things are better left exactly as they are, undisturbed, resting quietly in the place they have called home for so very long. You wander slowly to the rest of the library, feeling a deep, settling reverence take hold of you. Whatever knowledge once filled these shelves is lost now, softened beyond recovery by centuries of quiet, patient water, and yet the room itself remains, carefully preserved, as though the sea itself understood that some places deserve to be protected, even if their contents cannot be. Outside, through a wide, empty window frame, you catch sight of movement in the water beyond. The graceful shapes of several sea turtles gliding slowly past, their shells catching threads of ambient light, entirely at home among these quiet, ancient ruins. You linger a while longer in the soft, glowing quiet of the library, before turning to follow the others back out into the wider streets of this hidden, abandoned city, curious to see what else waits to be gently, carefully discovered. Beyond the library, the streets of the sunken city open into a wide, sheltered courtyard, and here, for the first time, you find something truly breathtaking. Enormous statues rise up along the courtyard's edges, carved from the same pale stone as the buildings around them, their surfaces softened by coral and moss, their original details worn gentle by time, but their scale still unmistakably grand, tall, graceful figures with arms raised skyward, their expressions calm and serene, their bases surrounded by drifts of soft, glowing plant life that seemed to have been tended, once, with obvious and careful devotion. You walk slowly among them, tilting your head back to take in their full height, feeling small and quiet beneath their patient, weathered gaze. Whatever these figures represented, gods, perhaps, or ancestors, or simply ideals too important to leave unremembered, the people who carved them clearly cared deeply about capturing something more than mere likeness. There is a gentleness in their postures, a peacefulness in their worn faces, that seems to have been placed there quite deliberately, meant to be felt by anyone who stood before them, then and now. Beyond the statues, the courtyard opens further into what can only be described as a garden. Though unlike any garden you have ever walked through before, wide beds of luminous, moss-like plants spread out in gentle, curving patterns, interspersed with taller, stalk-like growths that glow softly along their length. Swaying gently though, once again, there is no wind here at all. Small glowing insects, or something very like insects, drift lazily between plants, pulsing faintly with soft points of blue-green light, settling occasionally on wide, flower-like blooms that seem to open and close in slow, patient rhythm, releasing tiny clouds of pale, luminescent spores into the still air. You crouch beside one such bloom, watching it slowly unfurl, marveling at the delicate, otherworldly beauty of it. Priya kneels nearby, studying a cluster of tall, glowing stalks with quiet fascination, murmuring softly about photosynthesis and bioluminescent chemistry, though even her scientific mind seems, for once, more interested simply in appreciating the beauty than in fully understanding it. The dive master walks slowly through the garden's winding paths, his hands loose at his sides, his expression calm and unguarded in a way you haven't quite seen from him before. I've been diving for 30 years, he says quietly, almost to himself. Never seen anything like this. Never even imagined it. You nod in quiet agreement, continuing your own slow walk through the glowing garden, past low stone benches tucked into shaded alcoves, past a small, still pool ring with luminous flowers, its surface perfectly calm, reflecting the soft, star-scattered ceiling far above like a second, smaller sky captured within the first. Everything here feels abandoned, yes, quiet and still, and long untouched by the hand that first shaped it. And yet, nothing here feels neglected. The plants continue to grow, gently and patiently, exactly as they always have. The statues continue their silent watch, unbothered by time. The whole garden seems to exist in a kind of soft, suspended peace, waiting quietly, faithfully, for anyone to come and see it again. You settle onto one of the stone benches for a while, simply resting, listening to faint, distant murmur of the whale's song rolling gently across the water beyond the garden's edge, feeling entirely, completely at peace. After a while, Theo calls out gently from further ahead, his voice soft with quiet excitement. "There's something at the center," he says. "I think you want to see this." You rise slowly from the bench, and together, unhurried, you make your way deeper into the heart of the hidden garden. The path leads you through the last of the glowing garden and into a final, open clearing, and there, at its very center, you find what Theo had called you to see. A single, enormous tree rises up from the middle of the clearing, though tree feels almost too simple a word for it. Its trunk is thick and pale, ribbed with soft, flowing patterns that catch and hold the light like the crystal formations out in the wider sea, and its branches spread wide and high overhead, each one lined with delicate, translucent leaves that glow with a warm, gentle golden light, brighter than anything else you encountered in this hidden world. The light from the tree spills out across the clearing in soft, shifting waves, gentle as candlelight, warm as late afternoon sun. It catches on the surrounding statues, the winding garden paths, the calm surface of the small reflecting pool nearby, and washes everything in a soft, golden glow that feels more than anything like being welcome home. You stand at the edge of the clearing for a long moment, simply looking, feeling something settle deep and quiet inside your chest, the sense of arrival, of finally reaching place all of this long, gentle journey have been leading you toward. The others gather beside you, equally still, equally quiet. Priya reaches for her slate, glances at it, and then simply lets it rest and used at her side. Theo lowers his camera without taking a single photograph, seeming to understand, in this moment, that some things are better simply witnessed than recorded. The dive master steps forward slowly, walking toward the base of the great glowing tree, and reaches out to rest one hand gently against its smooth, pale trunk. He stands there for a long while, saying nothing, his shoulders relaxed, his breathing slow and easy. You find yourself understanding, quite suddenly and quite clearly, exactly what this place is. The blue hole above, the long descent through darkness, the impossible depths, the hidden sea, the quiet ruins of civilization long since passed into gentle memory. None of it was simply a whole reef, a strange geological curiosity waiting to be measured and mapped. It was a door, an entrance, patient and quiet, leading down to this warm, glowing heart hidden deep beneath the world, cared for gently across centuries by whoever first built these halls, these gardens, these graceful, watching statues. You walk slowly toward the tree yourself and rest your palm against its smooth bark, feeling a faint, gentle warmth beneath your hand, almost like a heartbeat, slow and steady and endlessly patient. Around you, the golden light continues to pulse gently, softly, filling the clearing with warmth, filling you with a deep and settled peace unlike anything you felt in a very long time. The whale's song rises once more in the distance, low and beautiful, rolling gently across the water and through the glowing garden, blending softly with the quiet hum of the tree's warm light, until the two sounds seem almost to become one single, gentle melody. You lower yourself slowly to the soft, mossy ground near the base of the tree, and the others do the same, settling quietly around its wide, glowing trunk, none of you feeling any need to speak, none of you feeling any need to do anything at all, except simply rest here, together, in the warm and golden heart of this hidden, ancient world. Time moves differently here, softly, without urgency, and you find you've lost track of exactly how long you've been sitting beneath the great, glowing tree. Eventually, unhurried, you rise and make your way with the others back down to Quiet Garden, past the watching statues, past the still, reflecting pool, out through the gentle ruins of the ancient city, until you reach again the wide, calm shoreline where small, floating islands meet the warm waters of the hidden sea. You settle down onto the soft, glowing sand at the water's edge, feeling the last of any lingering tension finally completely leave your body. Above you, the vast cavern ceiling continues its slow, patient glow, scattered from edge to edge with countless soft points of bioluminescent light, like a sky full of quiet stars that never needs the sun to shine. The great crystal towers rise up around the wide, calm sea, pulsing gently with their own soft inner light, casting long, peaceful reflections across the water's still surface. Somewhere out in the depths, the whale's song rises once more, low and resonant, rolling gently across the water before fading softly back into silence. Beside you, the others have settled into their own quiet rest. Priya lying back against the warm sand, her eyes closed, a small, contented smile on her face. Theo sitting cross-legged nearby, his camera finally set aside completely, simply watching the gentle ripple of light across the water, the dive master resting easily against a low outcrop of stone, his breathing slow and even, utterly at peace. You lie back yourself, feeling the warm sand cradle you gently, feeling the soft, humid air move slowly across your skin, feeling the distant, comforting pulse of the great glowing tree somewhere behind you, its warmth reaching even this far, wrapping around the whole of this hidden world like a slow, patient heartbeat. You think, quietly, of the long journey that brought you here, the calm, bright morning above, the crystal clear water and the drifting rays, the slow fade into darkness, the strange and beautiful creatures who kept you gentle company along the way, the ancient carved passages, the warm and impossible depths, the vast archway, the hidden sea opening up around you like a secret finally, gently shared. None of it had ever felt frightening. Not once, through the whole long descent, had you felt anything but a quiet, deepening sense of wonder, carrying you forward deeper and deeper toward the soft, glowing rest at the very heart of it all. The water laps gently at the shore beside you, slow and rhythmic, endlessly patient. The soft golden light of the great tree continues to pulse quietly somewhere behind you. The whale's song rises once more, fainter now, drifting off into the vast, glowing dark of this hidden ocean. And you feel your own breathing slow to match it, deep and easy, unhurried. You do not think about the boat waiting somewhere far above, or the long swim back through the archway, or the ordinary world waiting beyond the surface of the blue hole. There will be time for all of that later, whenever you are ready. For now, there is only this: the warm sand beneath you, the soft glowing sky of the cavern ceiling above, the gentle water lapping the shore, and the deep, settled peace of finally, quietly resting. You close your eyes and let the soft light and the slow water carry you gently, gently into a deep and peaceful sleep.